if we go out to the personalities. So I'm an ENTP. We call it a debater, an INTJ. There we go. They're an architect. It's somewhat similar, but they're going to be different. I probably should pick somebody that's way different. Let's go an ISTJ. That's incredibly different. And you'll see as it writes it out, it's going to be different. So going to go ISTJ and just fix that real quick. And this is, you wouldn't normally have to do this, but this is the proof is in the pudding part where we're going to show you that AI is going to write differently based upon that personality type. And we're going to take just a second. And then we're going to go further, like we talked about. And we could ask it to write LinkedIn posts. We could ask it to write tweets. We could ask it to write email copy for our newsletter. We could ask it to create a blog post for our website. We could do any of that with the formula we've just talked about. Your personality, your audience, and inspiration that it can use as fodder to begin building, I should say, your client. So let's talk about that. I was high energy, kind of like I am when you read mine. This one is logical. What's it start with? Is your current social media strategy producing a measurable return on the time you invest? Now, that's not different. It's not a different message, but it's a different tone than the way I said it. I say, my tone said, is social media even worth the time anymore? Or am I shouting into the void? That sounds like me as opposed to a logical, is your current social media strategy producing a measurable return on the time you invest? Now, personally, my opinion, I like mine better, but that's okay. That's who I'm writing to. We need to understand who that audience is. And I just want to show you it's that simple. And we could go through the whole thing, every aspect of it, while making the same points, while talking about the same thing is going to sound now like you and not like somebody else. And most importantly, not like AI. Now, I do want to address one thing real quickly. People are always like, do I need to be worried about using AI to write my content? No, you don't. You don't need to worry about it from an SEO perspective because the search engines don't care. They don't. They've even come up publicly and said it. The AI engines that most of us are now using for search absolutely don't care because they're AI based. And the thing I always hear is, but my audience hates AI content. No, your audience doesn't hate AI content. They hate garbage. And let me share a reality with you. Most of your competitors, of course, not you, but most of your competitors who are out there using AI to write content, they didn't follow any of the steps we did. What they did is they started a new chat and they said, I need to write a post about why social media is not dead. And they pressed enter. That's what they're doing. And you're going to see when that's all I do, it is faster. Yeah. But it's not nearly as good. We're creating stuff that sounds like AI now. We're not focusing on our client. It's not going to call them out. We're not basing it on some real information. And so, yes, all likelihood, if this comes out, your clients aren't going to appreciate this that we just did. This is AI content that your clients don't like. What we created earlier, this with your personality and a YouTube transcript and everything else, this is good quality AI assisted content. And your audience will love any content you create that is helpful to them. It's why it's so important that we mention who your audience is. So we've done that. That's our Facebook post. That's great. Let's try something totally different. Let's go grab an entirely different video. Just so you guys know, I haven't tried to get this all synced up. Let's scroll down here and see what I can find out. We're looking for jazz for working and study. Okay. I don't know anything about that. Let's see here. What have I got?
While you're
So we've
looking
got,
for that, Jonathan,
yeah,
just so when we're doing this, like in my head, I'm always like, give it as much information as I can. Like I know you're giving it the personality test, but I would be like, this is like this, the way I sound. This is my tone. I give them like a full write up of who my ideal client is and all of this sort of stuff. Yours is so simple. Like you're just giving them, this is my personality type. This is my audience, like one sentence things, and you're still getting amazing content without all the backstory.
you got it. Just give you a personal example. I'm not doing amazing on social media, but I do reasonably well. And I'm reaching about 4 million people a month using this strategy. So for most of us, I'd say, how many people are you reaching on your social media channel per month and make a decision if it works for you. Now, what you're talking about will definitely provide more value. It'll be better than what I'm doing. But my question is for those of us listening, a lot of us are business owners and in business, and most of us have more things to do than we have time. I can give you an amazing 6 hour process, which I've gone through and used with others. But the reality is, if I do that, most of us aren't going to take the 6 hours to do it. And so we're going to be no further ahead at the end of this presentation. And I want people to be able to go, look, I can do 15 minutes. I can make that work. And my
Yeah.
challenge to you is if I could get you 90% of the way to where we want to go in 15 minutes, is it worth your 15 minutes? If I told you that to get 100% of the way there was going to take 6 hours, most
Mhm.
business people I know, they're going, well, let's at least start with the 15-minute version. I can always go the 6 hours later if I need to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. I appreciate that. And even just the clarity of knowing like you can still put out good content, like really good content that's performing without spending that 6 hours or putting in that backstory. I'd also love to know how important is it that we set, like I know at the start you wrote in there something along the lines of act as a social media manager or whatever that was.
Yes.
How important is that pre-frame as well?
Really good question. So it is less important than it was a year ago. Let me be really candid. It's less important because the AI models are going to figure it out from your question what they need to do. But I find that it helps us as the user tremendously when we think through that four-step process. And if we don't begin, and maybe I should say me, if I don't begin by defining who that expert is, I often find my context and my question really aren't on track as well because it hasn't got my mind in order. So it is less important for the AI, but it is crucially important, I believe, for you as the user to do that in order to make sure that the rest of that prompt follows appropriately.
Yeah. No, I love that. Thank you. And thank you for diving in with a little more detail there. How did you go with
Absolutely.
what you were
Yeah,
hunting?
let's go back. So I grabbed the video here from a friend of mine, Josh Nelson. Josh is a coach that teaches digital marketing agencies. So find somebody, by the way, that you know, like, and trust. I know Josh. He's amazing. I trust him. Anything that he puts out with, I know from I've worked with Josh for almost 3 years. I'm going to likely be in 95% agreement with. So it's really safe for me to grab his content. Again, I'm going to go up and I'm going to grab the summary and I'm going
So
to
again,
go ahead.
it doesn't matter like if you pick Sunny one day and Josh the next day, that your content's still going to turn out fairly similar sounding.
It is, and the reason is that I'm only using this content for inspiration. It's no different than if I went and watched Sunny's video and now I watch Josh's video. I'm using that for inspiration because I'm telling it to write as an ENTP in my case, and I'm telling it to write to my audience. It's not going to take Josh's content and plagiarize it. That's not what AI does. It's going to use that as inspiration to go ahead and create the next step that I'm looking for based upon the parameters that I gave it, my ENT personality, and my entrepreneur or small business owner audience. And so again, we'll try the same thing. I'll do a brand new chat. We'll start over. And this time, let's write it for our email newsletter. I'm writing an email newsletter and I'm an ENTP. By the way, we're going to skip just to show you it will work, we're going to skip the who you are expert and you'll see it still works out just fine. My audience is small business owners and entrepreneurs. I want you to review the transcript from this video from Josh Nelson, and I want you to turn this into a 3-paragraph newsletter article that I can add to my daily email newsletter that's going out to my clients. Make sure it's relevant to my audience of small business owners and entrepreneurs. So far, so good, right? We've got that. That's my background. Please review the content and write the email snippet. And then how do I end it? Ask me any questions you have. Same format. We're going to skip the first part because you're right. It's not a big deal. And I'm going to paste in this transcript. This one's only 13 minutes instead of 20, but it's still fine. And here we go. Notice here, I didn't even tell it what Josh had spoken about. I didn't say the first time when we did the Facebook post, I said, I want to take this position. In this case, I'm trusting the AI to take what Josh said, which by the way, I have not watched this video yet, so I'm not even sure what he said here. I've went ahead and told who my audience is and who I am, and let's see how it does. Now, keep in mind, this is where the segmentation is so important. Josh isn't selling to small businessmen and entrepreneurs. Josh is coaching digital marketing agencies. So if this worked properly, and we're going to read it and find out if this worked properly, this won't sound like a message to a digital marketing agency. It'll sound like a message to a small business person or entrepreneur, but it'll have used what Josh said. So really quickly, let's go find out what did Josh talk about. So who have you become to scale, scaling together? So I know Josh is all about growing your business. So it's probably about growth strategies. Let's go ahead and take a look. This is email again. We'll read it really quickly. Is your superhero persona killing your scale? Scaling your business isn't about adding more clients or better tech. It's about a fundamental identity shift in how you show up as a leader. Many of us fall into the trap of playing the superhero, the one who swoops in to save the frustrated client or solve every internal fire. While it feels good to be the hero, Josh Nelson points out that this actually cripples your team. It sends a silent message that you don't trust them to handle the hard stuff, which keeps them small and keeps them stuck in the day to day weeds. To get to the next level, you have to let that version of yourself die so your team can step in with their own confidence. Well, that had nothing to do with marketing agencies. That's talking about scaling a business. And that's
Yeah.
great. And it even brought in Josh Nelson, which, by the way, is perfectly fine. It adds more credibility to what I'm writing. But
Yeah.
notice now I'm able, again, assuming this fits what you believe, you want to make sure you're checking it. But now I'm able to create email content that fast. And if I read this and I'm going, wow, I really like this is great. I can then say, I'm not using X enough. I should be posting more out there. Or,
Mhm.
you know what? This is really good. I think I want to create a short form video about this because I know this is a resident in my audience. So I'm just going to come up and say, now I want you to create me an engaging 90-second short form video script, voice only, that'll work with my entrepreneurs and small business owners who are watching YouTube shorts in particular.
Yep.
So real simple, who we are or who I am, it's still going to keep my NTP because I'm in the same conversation. It's going to remember that. If I'd started a new conversation, it would forget. And we're literally going to take it. Look, notice because AI and any model will do this, it knows what it should do. So a 90-second script for conversational but energetic pace, aim for 225 to 240 words. That's perfect. It needs what? A hook, a problem, a shift, the result, and the CTA. Maybe I'm not a marketer. Maybe I didn't know it really needed to have that. That's okay because AI is functioning as my own coach here. And let's try this out. So here's the video. Look, I know you love being the superhero. A client gets mad, you swoop in, a project stalls, you fix it. It feels great, right? But here's the cold, hard truth. Your inner superhero is actually killing your ability to scale your business. I was listening to Josh Nelson talk about this and it hit home. When you play the hero, you're subconsciously telling your team, I don't actually trust you to handle this. You're reinforcing a loop where they wait for you to save the day instead of stepping up. If you want that business that grows past your own two hands, that version of you has to die. The secret just isn't delegating, it's radical transparency. You have to be a leader who shares the wins, the losses, and the ugly stuff in the departmental meetings. Why? Because your team is afraid of getting fired if making a mistake. They'll never take ownership. You have to let them fall on their sword occasionally so they can develop the confidence to lead without you. The
Yep.
next level of your growth requires that you be ruthless with your time. Think blank space on the calendar, think deep work. If your day is 100% back to back meetings, you aren't a visionary, you're an administrator. You need to move into your genius zone and let your leaders own their areas. It's scary, it's messy, but it's the only way to 10x your business. So, are you ready to hang up the cape and actually lead? Drop a yes in the comments if you're ready to stop being the bottleneck. I love that. I'm going to record that and do that tonight for my video. That's
Ye- Yeah.
and we've now created Facebook posts, we've created email copy, we've created tweets, we've created email copy, and we haven't even been talking for 30 minutes yet. And I've been doing a lot of talking versus showing. That means you could probably do all this in about 15 minutes as long as you give it the right information. And I hope everybody can take these tips. Again, quick summary: know your personality, know your audience, and use a piece of content as inspiration, and don't worry about being worried about copycat or plagiarism because no plagiarizing. Notice this didn't copy Josh's script. If we listened to it, he would have said something similar, but the words we're using and everything are different. Josh is not an ENTP. I know him, he's great, but that's not his personality type. So he's going to have said it differently. But now this
Yeah.
came out very much the way that I, Jonathan, speak, and it didn't sound like AI. Does that all make
Yeah.
sense?
Yes. This is amazing. Love this. It's just so interesting as well because it's not your words, but it's coming out in your language. It's amazing. It's
Exactly.
specifically tailored to your audience. Like, it's amazing. If you want to watch the entire episode, click here. And if you want to watch more episodes like this, click here.